Okay, so we'll review this assignment, which is chapter 18, 19, 20, and 21. So again, most of the question will be coming from this review, this assignment. So make sure you take a note. Maybe some of this lecture or the review that we have today is not really in your assignment. So you have to take a note. Okay, put additional information on it. Okay, we start with chapter 18, blood. Okay, now what you have to know about blood? First, compositions. Okay, we have learned the blood composition. It is divided into two parts. Okay, the top one is going to be filled with liquid. What we call it? Blood plasma. Blood plasma. How many percent in average? Normally, 55%. If you got this one, you will be happy. Right? Oh, make it yourself happy, okay? At least today. And during the exam too. Now, what is the second part called? What is the second part? The form elements. Form elements, which is basically this is cell. Blood cell. How many percent in normal blood? Gonna be 45. Healthy. Okay. Now, over here, that's gonna be number one. The function of the blood. Three main functions. First one is for transportation. What? Transporting molecule. Transportation. The second one is for regulation. And the third one will be for protections. Okay, there are two types of protections. First, again, blood loss. And second, again, disease, infectious disease. Okay, now we're going to make connection. If you know that connection, then it's going to be easy for your exam. Make sure you get this connection. In the blood plasma, okay, the content of blood plasma, 97%, is 92% or above 90% is going to be water, right? That's the first component. Maybe about 92% water. What is the second component? Proteins. It's called the plasma proteins. Okay? And there are three, it's about 7% over here. And there are three types of plasma proteins in our blood plasma. The most abundant one is called albumin. Then we have what is the second one? The one that's used for fighting infection. Globulin, right? And the last one is the one that's used for blood clotting, which is the fibrinogen. Okay, that's the protein. And the rest over here gonna be electrolytes. Okay, in the calcium, potassium, and etc. Okay, that's the blood plasma. Now the form elements, because this is blood cell, then the most abundant one, which is 99%. Okay, this is gonna be number one. It's gonna be red blood cell or erythrocytes. Okay, that's the scientific name. What is the second one? The second abundance will be platelets or thrombocytes. Okay? And the last one will be the least abundant one, gonna be leukocyte or white blood cell. Okay, now white blood cell itself, there are 5 types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I said it over and over. Just try to memorize based on the abundance. Never let monkey eat banana, right? So the first one is gonna be neutrophil. Second one, monkey never let lymphocyte. Okay, and then number 3, monkey monocyte. Eat eosinophil. Banana basophil. You get me? Now, before we go there, make sure you know that lymphocyte is actually consists of 2 types of cell. B cell and T cell. Okay, I try to make it here together. Okay, when you memorize this, the T cell, there are 3 types. It's actually answer all your assignment. Okay, T helper, T cytotoxic, TC, and the last one is natural killer. Natural killer. Okay, that's the type of T cell. T helper, Th, cytotoxic T, TC, and natural killer T cell. Okay, now it's complete. We have everything in our blood. Now we can make a connection with this function, transportation. Okay, transportation. Which one do transportation? Of course, the most important one is the one that we need a lot of oxygen. We need a lot of oxygen. Which one of this blood component transporting the oxygen? Which one? Daniel? The red blood cell. Which is in the blood vessel, we have the hemoglobin that transport oxygen transport. So oxygen transport done by this red blood cell. For other molecules like hormones, carbon dioxide, enzyme, glucoses will be transported in here in water. Okay, so this one for water-soluble hormones, sugars, others will be here. For cholesterol, lipid-soluble hormone is carried by this, albumin. So lipid-soluble hormone, lipid molecule like cholesterol, transported by the albumin, which is the proteins of plasma. Okay, so that's the transportation. Okay, which is for the cell done by red blood cell. For the blood plasma is mainly done by water and the albumin. Okay, second function, regulation. What kind of regulation does actually blood do? There are 2 main regulations. First, body temperatures. Body temperatures. Like for example, when we're sweating and etc., it's actually a water component over here. So we regulate body temperature mostly by water, which is the blood volume. Okay. Second, what is regulation? pH. We control pH in the blood. It is going to be done by component in the blood plasma, okay, especially the carbonic acid and the ions. This is also known as the buffers. Okay, this is the buffers for regulate the pH. Okay, we have buffer system in our blood plasma over here. That's for regulation. Now, the last one for protection. We're going to start with the blood loss. It's going to be done by the cell and by the protein. Which cell clot our blood? This one, platelet. And which protein help us to clot the blood? Fibrinogen. So platelet, fibrinogen, this is for blood loss protection. Okay? The last one, infection. Which one? We start with the cell, which is white blood cell. This is for protection against infectious disease. Then we have second line, third line, and first line, second line, and the third line of defense, right? It's mostly used by this white blood cell. Okay? Lymphocyte is very specific. This is the one for specific defense. Okay? The rest, neutrophil, monocyte, eosinophil, basophil, they are for non-specific defense. Okay, that's the white blood cell. We also have the globulin, type of globulin for protection against disease. Therefore, we have what we call the immunoglobulin. The name is telling you this is a globulin that used for immune system. And we have 5 types, IgA, should be IgG, and then A, M, and D, and E. Okay, so this for protection against disease. Globulin, which is immunoglobulin, and this white blood cell. So that's connection. If you got this one, if you understand this, then any questions gonna be easy to answer. You know which one do the job. Okay? Which one do transportation, which one do regulation, which one do protection. So make sure you get this one. Okay? Now, it should answer all the questions on the first page. Okay? Let's say number 1, compositions, 45%. Function of blood, there are 3 functions. And then component of blood plasma, water, globulin, water, plasma protein, other substances, plasma protein, albumin, globulin, fibrinogens, the form element, red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets. Okay, and then all of this cell is produced in the red bone marrow. So made in red bone marrow, and there are specific cell that make this blood cell is called the pluripotent hemopoietic stem cell. Okay, so there are stem cell in the red bone marrow that will create all these form elements. Okay, that's answer number 7. And this stem cell have 2 line, which is myeloid line and lymphoid line. Lymphoid line is the one that make this, the specific defense mechanism, lymphocyte. The rest made from the myeloid line of stem cell. Number 9. There are some hormones that is needed for this production. Red blood cell, there is a hormone produced by our kidney, is called the EPO, which is erythropoietin. So this is coming from the erythrocyte. Erythropoietins, and then for the thrombocyte, or the platelet, there is a hormone called the TPO, thrombopoietin. For the white blood cell, there is hormone called the CSF, colony stimulating factors. There is also some other chemical is called the cytokines that help this process also in the red bone marrow. This is a local hormone. The cytokines are local hormone. The rest over here is produced by other organ. EPO produced by the kidney, TPO, CSF, they're mostly produced by liver. Okay, cytokine is local hormone produced by the red bone marrow. Okay, now number 10. Protein in the red blood cell that carry oxygen is called the hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin actually have 4 iron, and iron, the iron is actually the one that attaches the oxygen. Therefore, people that have not enough iron on their diet, they will have anemia. So there are a lot of kids that have anemia due to the iron deficiency. Okay, so the next page, this is I just want to make sure you know that our red blood cell carry a lot of oxygen molecules. Okay, in one red blood cell, there are 280 million hemoglobin, just one red blood cell. And it's carry 4 oxygen per 1 hemoglobin. What? So in one red blood cell, how many oxygen is carried? You just time it. 280 million times 4, which is about 1.02 billions. Just one red blood cell. In one drop, if you drop your blood, there are about 5 million red blood cells in one drop. So you can imagine how many oxygen you lost just from one drop of blood. You can imagine if someone get accident and they lost the blood, they might have what they call the hypothalamic shock. They don't get oxygen on their body. Okay, you get this one? Okay, so that's the hemoglobin, the red blood cell. Number 14, principal type of white blood cell, granular, agranular. Granular means have granule, which is like a crystal. All the one that end with phils will be granular. Basophil, neutrophil, eosinophil. They are granular. Okay? Agranular does not have granule. It's going to be lymphocyte, monocyte. And again, the orders based on the abundance in neutrophil. So make sure you know neutrophil fight bacteria. Lymphocyte fight viruses and also for specific defense. Monocyte fighting bacteria. Eosinophil parasite. Basophil allergens. Okay? Now the one that fight bacteria, neutrophil and monocyte, they're able to eat bacteria. Therefore, these two white blood cell is also called as phagocyte. They can eat bacteria, and the process of eating bacteria is called the phagocytosis. That's going to be the second line of defense when we talk about immune system later. Okay, so that's the connection. This is all connection over here. Some blood disorder. Okay, if you don't have red blood cell, enough red blood cell, then you have anemia, no enough oxygen. If it is a deficiency of clotting factor, mostly over here in the platelet, and some other factor like maybe don't have enough potassium, for example, or unable to create the clotting. The disease called the hemophilia, usually on male, and this is inherited disease. This is genetic disease, hemophilia. C, DIC, disseminated infravascular clotting, and D is leukemia. This is when people or someone have too much leukocyte that actually killing a lot of cells. Okay, so that's the leukemia. Okay, we done with chapter 18, blood. Do you have a question for this one? Again, if you follow this closely, you should be able to answer all the questions that will be related to the blood in the exam. Okay, I will provide this video after this, then make sure at home try to review it again. All questions will be coming from this. Just one screen over here. Okay, John whiteboard over here is for all the blood question. Okay, the next one, chapter 20, is the heart. heart. Okay, again, we're gonna try to put it in one whiteboard for all the questions that related to the heart letter. Okay, first, heart. I say look like this, right? This is my heart. Okay, so this heart is actually covered by, protected by a layer or sac. Okay, what do you call that sac? That protect the heart. Pericardium or pericardial sac. Right? So it's gonna be called pericardium, and this pericardium has two layers. Okay, outside and inside layer. The outside is called the fibrous, the inside called the serous layer. Okay, now in the heart itself. So if we start from the heart over here, this is just the layer over here, right? This is the heart. The heart itself, it has three layers or three wall. We can call it wall. There are three walls. The outside wall, okay, this is mostly consists of connective tissue. Okay, this is the first wall. Anybody what you call that first wall of the heart? Senina, that's number 3 on your assignment. What is the first layer or the first wall called? Yeah, the layer, the heart layer. Wall. I'm sorry. Wall of the heart. This is not the pericardium, but the wall of the heart itself. Epicardium. So number 1 is called epicardium. Okay. Number 2, which is the thickest layer. The thickest layer of the heart. Okay, which is this one over here. Okay, what do you call that layer, Mason? Myocardium. Myocardium, or this is muscle. This is a cardiac muscle. And the inside layer, this is the one that will let's say like that. So the inside layer over here is going to be number 3. This is the one, the layer of the lumens or the chamber of the heart. Sarah, endocardium. See, you ready? you know this, then you will be happy during the exam. Especially when talking about the layer of the heart. Now, epi, myo, and endo. Okay, now, chamber. There are 4 chambers. 2 on the top. What do you call the top chamber? They call atria. If it is 1, it's going to be atrium. Okay? So this is right, this is left. The bottom chamber is called ventricles, or ventricle if it is 1. It's going to be right, left. Okay? This is easy, right? It's easy. Now, next question. What is the function of the atria? What is the function of atria? They receive the blood. So receiving the blood. Receive blood. This one also receive blood. Okay, so blood is going here. Blood is going here. Okay. And then from the atrium, blood going down to the ventricle. Okay. Now what is the function of the ventricle? Daniel? Pumping the blood. So ventricle is pump. So it's going to be pump like this. From the right ventricle, it will be pumping the blood to the lungs. So this is go to lungs. From the left one, It's going to be going to the whole body. Okay, to the whole body. Okay, this is palm, palm. Okay. Okay, that's the function of the chamber. Now the valve. There are 4 valves in the heart. Between right atrium and right ventricles, we have valve over here. The door or the opening. This one is called the tricuspid valve. Get it? Between the left atrium and left ventricle, we have the second valve. It's called the bicuspid, or sometimes it's also called mitral valve. Okay. Now, between the right ventricle and the pulmonary trunk, so this is going to be called pulmonary trunk, there is also a valve. Okay, this one's going to be number 3. It's called the pulmonary valve. Between the left ventricle and this one, aorta, then we have another door or opening. It's called the aortic valve. Okay, so these two on the left side, this one on the right side. Okay. Circulation. It is coming from the left ventricle to the aorta and then to the whole body. The circulation is called systemic. And again, yesterday you learned the systemic in the models or maybe in the textbook. The arteries will be red, the vein will be blue. That's the color for systemic circulation. The second circulation coming from the right ventricle, go to the lung and return to the left atrium. It's going to be called the pulmonary circulation. And the arteries will be blue. The veins will be red. Okay, that's the two circulation. The circulation within the blood muscle, myocardium over here, is actually branching from the ascending aorta, go to the blood muscle. That circulation is called the coronary circulation, which is actually part of the systemic circulation. Okay, so coronary circulation is part of the systemic circulation. Now, conduction system of the heart is start from here. On the right cell, there is a group of cells that will contract by itself. It will contract it by itself. And this group is called the SA node. Okay, sinoatrial node, sometimes also called as a pacemaker. Alright. If you get old, sometimes the pacemaker doesn't work. What happened? You will get the artificial pacemaker. What? Some old people, sometimes they carry artificial pacemaker. And it is actually using battery, okay, to kick this muscle. That's the reason why someone that has pacemaker, artificial pacemaker, they cannot go to the electrical magnetic field. Right? Because what? It might stop this battery. Okay? So that's the reason why people with the artificial pacemaker cannot go to electromagnetic field. It might die. Okay? Now, that's the first conducting system. Okay? From here, then the contraction will spread into the muscle of the right atrium and the muscle of the left atrium. Boom. Okay? The muscle of atrium then will pump or will contract, will push the blood going down to the ventricle. So there is a little bit contraction of the atrium that will push the blood down. Then after that, between here, okay, there is another conducting system is called the AV node. AV node is located here between atrio and ventricular, which is around the valve over here. There is an AV node. That's the reason why there is a delay between the atrial contraction and the ventricular contraction. It will not contract at the same time. So after the contraction of atrium, then the conduction will go to the AV node. After that, going down into the ventricular muscle, which is go to the AV bundles, and then bundle of fiber, and then Purkinje bundle, which is the one that will carry this conduction to muscle of the ventricle, and the ventricle will pump at the same time, left and right, pumping the blood at the same time to the lungs and to the whole body. Okay, so that's the conduction system in the heart. Number 10, cardiac muscle is also known, okay, because they conduct by itself, is called the autorhythmic. Autorhythm. Okay? They contract by itself. Your brain is actually not, start the contraction. It's not sending the information to start the contraction. But your brain can make it faster or slower, but not the start. Okay? The start is by itself. Therefore, it's called the autorhythmic. Okay? Again, the primary start is coming from the SA node or the pacemaker. Now, next. Okay, 3 main stages of cardiac contractions. Okay, gonna just put it here. Okay, the first one is called the depolarization. And then after that, there is plateau. It's gonna be like that. Depolarization, plateau, and repolarization. Okay, that's the 3 stages. Okay, depolarization, plateau, plateau, which is kind of, flat, and then repolarization. Okay, we actually can measure the electrolytes, the ions during that time. Okay, during the depolarization, mostly you're gonna measure the sodium ions. Sodium ions will be a lot during that depolarization because sodium ion channel will be open. During the plateau over here, then mostly you're gonna measuring the calcium ion. Calcium ion will be a lot. This is during the contraction of the ventricle, and it's flat a little bit because that contraction need time, 0.8 seconds. So the plateau over here is actually telling us a lot of calcium. And then there will be another peak after the plateau, which is, this is measuring the potassium ion. Okay? So the first wave over here is called the P wave. If we use the EKG. The second one is called the QRS complex. And the last one is called the T wave. Okay, so when we measure the EKG, you're going to see 3 waves, P, QRS, and T. Okay, P telling us sodium, QRS, calcium, and T is potassium concentration. Okay, cardiac cycle consists of systole and diastole. So systole is during this time over here. And diastole is actually here, during the contractions of atrium. This is atrial contraction. This one is ventricle contraction. Of course, ventricular contraction will be higher because this is pumping the blood to the whole body and to the lung. Usually, normally 120. And then the diastole, which is atrial contraction over here, this is during the atrium contraction. You still have the pressure over there. So the pressure, healthy one is 80 or below 80. Okay, so therefore, in the blood pressure, you have these two number. This is the usually normal number, 120, 80. Okay, 120 means systole, 80 is the diastole. Okay. Cardiac output, this is actually measured by the stroke volume and the heartbeat. Okay. And then regulation of heart rate. Again, it starts by itself, but our brain can control it usually using autonomic nervous system to control whether it's going to be faster or slower. Remember, there are two types of ANS, sympathetic and parasympathetic. This is actually on the previous class, okay, when you take 171. Joe, you still remember? Sympathetic and parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is actually during relaxation, sympathetic during angry time or 4F condition. Okay. The CVR, the cardio center, which is located in your brain stem. Okay. They have a lot of sensory over there. The output will be sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve. The output increase or decrease. And there are two types of lipoproteins in the blood, HDL and LDL. HDL is called hero, which is good cholesterol. LDL is loser cholesterol. Okay, that's for the chapter 19, the heart. Anybody has question? No? We go to chapter 20. Okay, so chapter 20 is blood vessels. And for this one, you just learned it yesterday in the lab, the main blood vessel. Okay, for the systemic circulation, start from the aorta, arteries, arterioles, and then veins, and back to the atrium into vena cava. Now, again, two types of blood vessels. Arteries and veins. Arteries is from heart to the tissue. Vein is from the tissue return to the heart. Now the blood vessels, whether arteries or vein, they have three layers. They have three layers. The outer layer is called the tunica externa. The middle layer is called tunica media. The tunica media is actually muscle, so smooth muscle. Okay, this is the second layer. And the third layer is called the tunica intima. Sometimes it's also called tunica interna. And this is mostly epithelial tissue. Okay, so that's the three layer of, okay, the tunica externa or adventitia is mostly fibers, connective tissue. The tunica media, mostly muscle, and the inside layer, tunica intima, mostly epithelial tissue. So that's the layers of the artery and also the veins. Okay. The artery, it has two functional type. The first one is called the elastic artery, and the second one is called the contractile artery. Elastic means they don't really distribute, they just receive the blood pump. The contractility is the one that actually distributing the blood. Okay, the elastic is also known as conducting artery. Yeah, example is bigger artery like aorta, and the first arteries will be conducting. Yeah. And distributing artery is a smaller arteries, like in arterioles, they're going to be distributing. They have a lot of muscle to distribute the blood. Type of capillary, continuous. Most of the organ have continuous capillary. Okay, less hole. Okay. The second one, fenestrated. It has bigger hole. Especially it's located in the kidney. And the last one is sinusoid, even bigger hole, because it will let the cell to enter or to leave the blood vessel. This one is located in red bone marrow. Okay, red bone marrow has sinusoid type of capillary. Three type of capillary exchange. Okay, so if it is capillary, then we have cell, cell, cell. This is a interstitial fluid. Okay, so there are three types of transport or exchange. For the smaller molecules, they might use diffusions, like oxygen, carbon dioxide. They will be used diffusion. For hormone, for example, they're gonna use vesicle transport. This vesicle transport is called the transcytosis. Okay, and the rest will be using pressure from the blood, which is from the heart. And this one is going to be called the bulk flow. Okay, so there are three types of exchange in the capillary. Number 8, it is called resistance. It will produce the blood pressure, and then blood pressure will be higher in the aorta, because that's the first time they get the pump, the pressure from the heart. Will be lower, even close to zero in vena cava. So vena cava, the pressure is really, really low. Normal 120/80, which is actually measuring the systole and diastole. Blood flow faster gonna be in the aorta, in the artery, and gonna be very, very, very slow in the capillary, because we need time to exchange the molecules, the gas, and everything in the capillaries. Blood vessel innervated only by the sympathetic nervous system. Okay? Is innervated by autonomic sympathetic nervous system. Okay, number 13, the input to the CV center, it might come from our higher brain. We can also put some information to the CV center in the brain stem. Proprioceptor, when you start to do exercise, then what happened? It's going to be received by the receptor, okay, kinetic receptor, and then we tell your heart, okay, I am ready to do exercise. Please pump the blood a little bit. So you can give that information, because we have the receptor for the activity. It's called the proprioceptor. There is also baroreceptor, like for example, oxygen receptor mostly in the carotid artery. It's telling us, we need more oxygen. Otherwise, we will have stroke. So there is a chemoreceptor in some blood vessel and arteries. And then chemoreceptor, baroreceptor, which is pressure receptor. Okay, this is also mostly in the aorta. We have that pressure, and in the aorta we'll have that baroreceptor. Number 14, type of muscle in the wall of blood vessel will be smooth muscle. We cannot really control it. It is controlled by this. sympathetic nervous system. Okay. And pulse rate, average, normal is around 70 to 80. Okay, some people can get 100. 100 is a little bit higher. If it is higher than 100, then it's called tachycardia. If it is lower than 60 or 50, it's called the bradycardia, slow heart rate. And it is dangerous. Okay, whether higher or slower, that's a dangerous pulse rate. Type of shock, we already mentioned hypothalamic. For example, if we have accident, losing blood, then it's going to be hypothalamic shock. There is cardiogenic shock. It means that the heart is not really working great. It's something happened with the heart pumping. That's what we call the cardiogenic shock. Vascular shock, okay, the heart is okay, pumping the blood, but the blood vessel, maybe it has something, maybe cholesterol, maybe lipids, is causing that shock. Shock means your tissue do not get enough oxygen. That's shock mean, because of this obstruction. Okay? And the last one is obstructive shock, which is there is maybe some obstructions during that delivery of the oxygen. 17, 4 major division of aorta is actually 3 or 4 is doesn't really matter. If we use 3, then it's going to be like this. The one that is up is called the ascending aorta. The one that is making arch is called the arch of aorta. And then the one that's going down is going to be descending aorta. Now, descending aorta, in some book, it is divided into the one that go to your thorax, passing the thorax is called the thoracic aorta. The one that go to your abdomen, that's going to be called the abdominal aorta. Okay? Therefore, if you want to take 4 different, then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So it doesn't matter whether you use 3 or 4, it's actually the same thing. The descending aorta can be divided into thoracic and abdominal aorta. Okay. Number 18, coronary arteries are branched from ascending aorta. Left, so the picture gonna be like this. Okay, let's say this is the heart, and then you have this aorta. Okay, this is ascending, this is arch, and the one that all going down is called the descending. Now, from the ascending aorta, there will be coronary arteries. Go to our heart muscle. Okay, and then in this over here, it's going to be 3 branchings. Okay, on the right side, only 1 branch is called the brachiocephalic, and then it's branched into 2, like that. On the left side, there is 2 branchings from the arch. This is going to be left common carotid artery. This is going to be left subclavian artery. This is right common carotid artery. This is going to be right subclavian artery. So there are 3 branchings in the arch, 2 branchings in the ascending aorta. And then how many over here? A lot, because we have so many organs that will be branchings from the descending aorta, whether thoracic or abdominal aorta. Okay, number 20, common iliac is going to be over here, which is branching for this descending from this descending aorta. Okay. And then major systemic veins, we have 3. This is the one that enter into the right atrium. It is from the top, it's going to be superior vena cava. If it is coming from the bottom part, it's called the inferior vena cava. This is superior vena cava. And the one that coming from our heart muscle is called the coronary sinus. Okay, these are the three main veins. Okay, number 22, circulation that carries blood from two capillaries called the portal circulation or portal system. We have one in our body, which is in the liver. So let's say this is liver. We have digestive system over here, stomach, spleen, pancreas. Okay, they all get the blood from the abdominal artery. Okay, now let's say this is kidney, and this is vena cava, inferior vena cava. So the kidney will return the blood right away or directly into vena cava. Right? However, this stomach, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, they actually will not go to the inferior vena cava directly. They actually have to take their blood to the liver. Why? Because there are many, maybe drugs in our food. It has to be detoxified, and liver is the place for detoxification. And then from the liver, then the blood will be returned to the vena cava, inferior vena cava. So this one over here, this is what we call the portal system. Okay, from one capillary to another capillary. It is only happening in our digestive system, go to liver. The rest of our body do not have portal system. So we only have one portal system because it is done by the liver. The portal system is called the hepatic portal system. And this is helping us to detoxify maybe drugs that enter into our body through our food. Or maybe if we take medicine. Okay? Hey, we're done for chapter 20. Now the last one, chapter 21. I'm gonna just put one big explanation over here. The process of our defense mechanism. Okay, again, there are two types, specific, non-specific. For the non-specific, there are two lines, first line, second line, and the specific one is third line. Now, we're gonna just put this picture again. Okay, we have cell inside our body, cell, cell, cell. And this cell always carry the marker. Okay, the marker is called marker number 1. Okay, we also have cell in our body that process the bacteria or the infection. This one is called maybe just called macrophages, which is type of monocyte. And these macrophages have different type of marker. It's called the marker number 2. Okay? Again, if you follow this, you will be able to answer your exam question easily. Okay? Now, this is marker number 1. Okay. Remember, we have two T cell that always survey our body. The first one is called TC, and the second one is T helper. T helper recognize micro MSC or marker number 2. TC recognize the marker number 1. If there is nothing, then they will not do anything. But if there is cancer, for example, they will try to kill that cancer. Okay, so that's first thing. Okay, the T cell will always survive our body. We also have B cell over here. Okay? So all of this is going to be the lymphocyte. So T helper, TC, and the B cell. Now, if we have infections, this is virus coming, what happened? Some of them will enter into our cell, causing infection. Some of them will be processed by these macrophages. Okay? Again, whenever it is processed, then it gives the antigens. There will be antigens showing up. This one also will be antigens showing up. Okay? Whenever it receives the antigens, then the T helper will activate into clone T helper and memory T helper. Okay? Now, the clone T helper over here will produce interleukin that will be sent into the B cell and TC. The TC then will activate into clone TC and TC memory cell. Okay? The clone TC, the one that will kill this infection, including killing our own cell. Okay? And then the virus will be available here, outside the cell. Okay? This process over here, killing of cell by the TC, is called the TMI. Sorry, CMI. Okay, cell mediated immunity. Why is called the cell mediated immunity? Because it's done by cell, by the TC. This is CMI. And then T helper also send information to B cell. The B cell then will be activated into memory B cell and plasma B cell. Plasma B cell will produce antibody, and this antibody will destroy the molecule or maybe the bacteria, viruses outside the cell. Right? Outside the cell. Therefore, this process over here is called the AMI. Antibody-mediated immunity. Using antibody to kill the pathogen. So that's CMI and AMI. It should answer the questions on number 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 on your assignment. Okay? Now, this process over here is done by the what we call the lymphatic system. And lymphatic system consists of 3 components. The lymph itself, which is liquid, and then the lymph vessels and lymph organs, lymphatic organs. And lymphatic organ consists of 2 types, primary and secondary. Primary is the one that make the cell, which is red bone marrow and thymus. The rest is going to be secondary, like lymph nodes, lymph nodules, tonsil. That's secondary lymphatic organ. Okay, I think we're almost done. Okay, 5 more minutes. Okay, do you have questions for this one? And again, for the hypersensitivity, type 1, type 2, type 3, I already put the video, disorders. Okay, just watch that one, different type of disorder, whether under reaction or overreaction. Cancer, immunodeficiency, and 4 type of hypersensitivity. Okay, again, good luck. I'll see you on Tuesday with the exam. Okay.